What do you think are some of the things that people who are going into opening a business and opening a boutique, what are some of the things you think they're probably not getting right that they need to probably be doing?
Well, I do think that oftentimes people who get into, any industry, and we can use fitness as our example, obviously, but anything that they're passionate about the delivery of the service, not usually passionate about the back end of the business. I have to go and do guerrilla marketing and hit the streets and pass out flyers, and I have to manage my books, and I have to make sure I have my budgets, and am I going to take out a loan, and all these things that happen, it's sort of behind the scenes. I think that oftentimes people get super excited about, I can't wait to do it on my own and run it the way I want, but they don't know how it should run. And I think oftentimes the business aspect of it ends up being almost an afterthought until they're smacked up in front of it and realize, I don't know how to do the business part. I just want to train clients, which is why oftentimes I tell new people, start off at a big box gym. Learn how to run your business within the business, which is what they expect. And then you'll perhaps even take a look at some of the ways systems are run and go, I like how they run that system, but I could tweak it this way. It's really a rare person that I've seen in my experience now going on more than 20 years of being in the fitness industry. A person can come right out of a certification, never having done it, and you're going to run a business right away and be successful and sustain it. Usually they're back working a part-time job or working several part-time jobs trying to make ends meet. I would say definitely underestimating the amount of business acumen that one would have. And I always recommend that they find a mentor in the business industry. We actually, like I said, partner with the business department, and we're going to start making, part of a new program, we're going to be offering a fitness leadership certificate where they're going to have to take a business marketing class, a basic accounting class, because you need to know that stuff. And even how to have a social media presence, right? Whether it's podcasts or using Instagram, whatever outlets that are important to relay information or just maintain a community sort of standing, you're not going to know that unless you actually get in there and do it. And just being a practitioner and doing the stuff on the floor is not going to give you that experience.
And that's an interesting point you make. So a lot of times people come, they get certificates, and then they're free. They're out on the floor training clients, and also probably using a lot of different, with the amount of training tools that come out. There's probably lots of things that they've never even picked up. I guess there's all types of brand. Us ourselves always coming out with new functional training tools. What's your advice for someone like that? I guess on two sides. One, how to deal with all those training tools. So when you talk about specialization, should they say, I'm going to specialize in this and get that before I progress? And then the second part of the question is, how long do you think they should accept to be sweeping floors and learning a bit about the trade before they kind of really progress to the next stage? What's your views on that?
I have this conversation in a lot of my classes about the balance between being a generalist versus being a specialist. And we use the term in our program, a fitness specialist, but ironically enough, we intentionally make these specialists into generalists because they may not necessarily know what their passion is within their passion. Maybe it's corrective exercise. Well, it's going to be really tough to be able to go right into a job and go right into corrective exercise exclusively as your demographic. Can people do it? Sure, I'm sure people do it. I don't see it very often at all. Now, my recommendation to people is have, like you said, sweeping floors, get to know the ins and outs of the business from all aspects. And I tell people, if you work at a big box gym, do you even know how memberships are processed? Do you know what? I had a student actually not too long ago who works in the industry ask, what's EFT? And I said, that's electronic funds transfer. That's like the center of most businesses. Like, get a regular EFT going, and I was like, but that person didn't understand that side of business. And to me, I think sometimes we say, your fitness, you stay in your little silo, but I think we're doing them a disservice too from an employer standpoint. It's important for them to understand other parts of the business because you never know. You may have a personal trainer, might be an amazing district manager, but because we don't give them opportunities to learn that side of the business, we might be, sort of isolating them too much. I think that it is important for a person to find something they truly love to do, and if your demographic, your region, your area allows for it, go after it. That should be kind of what you're known for. It's ironic because I never envisioned myself to be a specialist in any way. I opened up my gym out in sort of Podunk, California, a place called Norco, and it's got horses going on the street, and just an amazing town that really didn't have much of a big fitness presence. And I ended up getting a lot of, I just figured it was going to be boot camp, sort of fat loss clientele, and then I got one baseball player. He got great results. I did a lot of corrective work with him, and then another baseball player, and then another baseball player, and then another baseball. And then suddenly, I'm the guy people are sending pictures to. I didn't play baseball, but it was. So there are areas where there can be a great demand for specialization, but it's kind of hard to force that into a demographic. If I'm looking at charging upwards to $100+ for corrective exercise, well, then I have to know where I'm going to market my business, and it needs to be very strategically placed. And so, can a person be a specialist? Sure. I have a lot of colleagues in the industry who now have started off as generalists, found that love within that generalization, found a specialty, and now almost their entire business, in some cases I think maybe his entire business, the guy I'm thinking of off the top of my head, he does only post-rehabilitation, prehabilitation, corrective exercise, mobility work, and so he has built this amazing network of physical therapists, chiropractors, a licensed massage therapist, and he refers out and they refer in, and he has built his practice, but it's taken 18 years. It didn't happen right out of his program or whatever he did. It took time to build that from generalization to specialization.